everybody, I'm Van Comigo, and welcome to the Three Dads and a Podcast YouTube channel. I'm your host for today, Bdberto. Ba-bam! Today, I look and review at the first episode of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Uh, Obviously, this is the next chapter or next show. We got WandaVision first. I enjoyed it. Didn't do a review on it. I just didn't have time for it. But I am gonna try to do weekly reviews of Falcon and Winter Soldier. Um, so this show, it seems like it takes place. I think like 5 or 6 months after the blip, where half the universe disappeared. I think WandaVision is like 3 or 4 weeks after the blip. So there's a good time in between, the end of WandaVision to the beginning of the show. And, at the end of Endgame, spoiler alert, Captain America hands, Falcon, Anthony Mackie's character, the shield, to take up the mantle of Captain America, which deservedly so he should take up the shield. Anthony Mackie is as close to Captain America as you're gonna get. Very righteous, you know, wants to save people, you know. But and then there's Bucky, who's his longtime best friend, who now if you think about it, he's alone in the world as well. I mean, he doesn't have Steve. He had Steve, but he was in Wakanda recovering, and and then he blipped, so he was gone for 5 years, and Steve was behind. So this the opening scene was pretty badass. It looks like the Falcon's doing like government contracts. Like he's just he's not in the Air Force, or he's not in the Army anymore. Looks like he's just doing government contracts. So side missions that pretty much suicide missions. Like if you get caught, we have no idea who you are. You're not a part of us. So stuff like that or whatever, which is that I think that's pretty good. That he's kind of like a hero for hire type deal. But the opening scene, I think that was more of a hey, we don't need to make movies. We can do any pretty much action sequence or anything awesome or cool. Helicopters flying, missiles everywhere, Falcon just through the sky. I was shocked when I saw it. I was like, damn, this is like a technically a TV show, but this is like film type action or whatever. You're not gonna get this on the CW or whatever, but this was like crazy. It was legit like a great action sequence. He's flying, he's dodging missiles, dodging bullets. It was cool. And then Bucky, on the other hand, he's having a nightmare of like someone he killed or whatever. Like when he was under Hydra's control, he even he's on a mission to kill someone, and he even says "Hail Hydra," which was pretty dope. It kind of shows like, oh shit, this guy was like killing everyone or whatever. And he has a nightmare of a kid that he killed, who was just looks like at wrong place at the wrong time. But obviously you don't leave witnesses behind. And he actually befriends the kid he's killed father, which I remember Tony asked him like, do you remember all your victims or whatever when they were fighting in Civil War? And Bucky says, yeah, I remember every single one. So what's crazy about it is that he was under the Hydra spell. You tell him a bunch of words and boom, you activate the Winter Soldier. And you would think like, oh, that would erase your memory. No, he actually kept the memories of his missions, so he can probably give a whole slew of what Hydra did, what who he actually killed, and it's crazy. And he's seeing a therapist, because he's just dealing with a bunch right now. He's 104 years old or whatever it is. He's alone. All his family is dead. His friends are dead. He's like Steve, just in this world, doesn't have any guidance. The government's not looking for him to, help or do side missions. It's kind of, he has to go to therapy in order to, not go to jail or whatever, which I think if they try to put him in jail, nothing's going to hold him. Which, after the Anthony Mackie kind of set piece or whatever, this show kind of got me because it became grounded. As in WandaVision, there's Vision who could transform, and Wanda who has magic powers, but like this show, they're dealing with real life shit. Like there's still bills that have to be paid. There's still banks out there that were trying to get loans. Like Anthony Mackie and his sister, they have an old boat that they both own, that was given to them by their parents, and the sister wants to sell it. He doesn't want to sell it, but he don't got no money. He was out 5 years, and even when he was, saving the world, that doesn't come with a paycheck. That doesn't come with, millions of dollars, in the bank. And, he tries to get us a loan or whatever, but they're like, you got no finances. You've been gone for 5 years. Like, there's nothing here or whatever to help you. And then, the guy at the bank is like, didn't Tony Stark pay you? And he's like, no, it doesn't work that way. So that took me by surprise, because usually when you see shows, it's like everything comes to them. You're like, damn, how do they afford that car? Or how do they afford that house? Or how do they, you know what I'm saying? Like Bucky's sleeping on the floor in his apartment. like it's hard out here to be a hero, apparently, which I like that. I like that. It's like, damn, like, yeah, you're right. Like, I'm sorry, dude. Like, you need me? Well, I got to work, this double on Saturday just so I could put food on the table. It's hard for me to step out, or hard for me to keep a job or whatever, unless you, like, you own the business or whatever. And this Winter Soldier and Falcon don't meet. They haven't met in the first episode. They're just trying to get by. Like, you see their day-to-day life. You see that they're, like, struggling. You see Winter Soldier, he's struggling with his issue, and Sam, which there was a cameo by Rhodey, War Machine, because Sam actually gives up the shield to the Captain America museum, and he says this speech like, there would be no one that can hold the mantle, and that Captain America's pretty much one of a kind. So he finishes his speech. Rhodey takes him to the side, kind of wants to get answers like, hey, why didn't you take it up? Like, Cap chose you to, pick up the mantle or whatever. And Rhodey says, in Endgame, like, it doesn't feel right. Like, it doesn't feel like, feels like it's for another person, the shield. And, Rhodey kind of tells him, like, we need someone, like, we need, someone to hold that mantle. And Falcon's like, 75 years of him not being alive, they were fine. And Rhodey says it's different times. I mean, you have people who blipped for 5 years. You had probably mob bosses or bad guys that blipped, or people that aren't happy with how the world looks 5 years while they're gone. Because you think about it, if you leave for a year, you come back and you're like, oh, this person's in charge. Like, these are people, like, I don't agree with, politically, or, just in life in general. So imagine 5 years coming back and you're like, it's a whole different world. Like, these people that were, able enough to stay around 5 years while you were gone got to, change things, or, add things to, daily life, or, policies, government policies and stuff like that. So, and he doesn't really want to deal with, like, the whole political thing with being Captain America, because he would have to be under the Sokovian Accords, which, any superhero has to register, and pretty much you work for the government, and Cap was against that. Cap did not want to be controlled by the government. He just wanted to do his thing or whatever. So it was a good explanation, but at the same time, I'm like, come on, guy. He chose you. That should have been like an honor to take it, which I was like, whatever. I get it. Um, but it's very fascinating, the show so far. The first episode, it it really does deal with like life issues. Like it really does deal, like you can't just be a superhero and not think you have responsibilities or people to take care of or family and stuff like that. And then at the end of the episode, a government official that we meet, while he's doing his speech at the end, announces that there's a new Captain America, and some dude comes out with the shield, and Falcon's face was like, "Are you effing kidding me?" They really just made me turn back the shield, turn in the shield because it's government property, and they give it to just some random guy who didn't earn it, who wasn't out there, fighting Thanos, who didn't do anything, just so they can probably sell action figures and promote this guy like if he's the second coming of Captain America, and has a sweet gun on his hip. Like it looked like it's probably gonna be like some government agent. They are throwing around where it looks like there are super soldier serum. I forgot what they called it in the show, but there are like people that have been like testing a variation of it. But so far, first episode surprised me at the tone of it, how grounded it was. It was, for me, it was really good. It was a nice, refreshing, like, because we haven't gotten, anything except WandaVision, but WandaVision was like more like, it was totally different than what this is. Like, you had the sitcoms, you had the magic, you had, the outside world, but they were dealing with Wanda, and then this is like, damn, like, like it's like shit. There are real world issues. There are consequences for people leaving for 5 years. There's a bunch of shit going on or whatever. So that's my review of Falcon and Winter Soldier. Hope you enjoyed it. Please like, share, subscribe. Adios.